Hey guys, this is Robonauts. This is Robonauts1 here, and I'm here to do Gotham episode 22, the season finale of Gotham. Just right off the bat, I'm going to say that I'm not reviewing the last episode. I was gonna do it, but I ran out of time, and I'm going through some stuff, so I'm not gonna bother reviewing the last episode of Gotham. I don't really need to. It wasn't a major episode, but there is like one or two plot points that I want to talk about, which I can talk about during this episode. My goodness, there is a lot that happened in this episode. A lot that happened in this episode. First off, I really enjoyed this episode. So basically, the last episode basically set up the gang war, which basically kind of tears Gotham apart. And we have basically Bruce Wayne trying to discover what his father was up to. And we also have another thing, and then we also have the Barbara breaking down because she was kidnapped. So yeah, in this episode, these elements continue. We have Fish Mooney, who basically comes back to Gotham and sets up her own gang. And basically all of the gangs that was established in this season converge. We have Penguin, we have Fish, we have Carmine Falcone, and we have Maroni. And all of these gangs basically converge to create a gang war. Which we find out in this episode has been completely devastating Gotham. We also have Bruce Wayne trying to discover his father's secrets. In the last episode, it was established that his father discovered something, and his great-grandfather discovered something, that Wayne Towers, or Wayne Enterprises, or whatever it's called in the show, we're just going to call it Wayne Enterprises. It's basically revealed that Wayne Enterprises has basically doing under-the-hand deals and certain experimentations and all kinds of stuff, which has led to sort of downfall of Gotham. And basically Bruce discovers this secret in this episode. Finally, we have the stuff going on with Barbara, which will be the first thing that I talk about. So Barbara interacts with Lee, and it's really interesting. Barbara is just suddenly in this episode, which is I think the last episode that she appears in, Barbara just suddenly became a very compelling character. And I was like, where was this writing at the beginning of the season for Barbara? Because Barbara just became instantly a compelling character when they gave her a psychosis. And Barbara was creepy, she was menacing, she played being evil really well. And I was just like, where is this writing for this character come from? And, don't get me wrong, I am so glad that they did it. Because I was worried that this episode was just going to force Lee to break up with Jim Gordon. And they have pseudo done that. We'll just have to see where season 2 leaves off with Lee and Jim in season 2. But just the way they wrote Barbara was absolutely fantastic. And sort of what we see in the last 2 episodes where she is kidnapped, it really is the straw that broke the camel. It really was the straw that broke the camel's back for her, and gave her this psychotic breakdown. And I was really compelled with the character. Literally, this whole entire episode, I literally was like, I was so impressed, and I really needed one of these episodes. I will have to admit, I needed one of these episodes, just personally, and I really enjoyed watching this episode. It was absolutely fantastic. Another thing that they did, which was really interesting, is they gave Riddler his psychosis. And again, that was just another jaw-dropping moment for the episode. And they gave Riddler this really interesting psychosis where he sort of has this split personality, or this personality twist, which is really going to be interesting moving forward with the Riddler, and especially his relationship with the girl we see him interact with in the GCPD. And it's going to be really interesting to see how Riddler becomes a villain. And that stuff was just really compelling. Another really interesting bit was the stuff going on with the gang war. The gang war was really interesting, and sort of a really nice way to leave the season off. I will admit, I kind of wanted the gang war to sort of spill out into Gotham. And I will admit that was kind of what I expected. I kind of expected that Gotham would just descend into total chaos, and that's why we would need a Batman. But I'm guessing since we're going to have like a few years or a year later from this season, I don't think we're going to be seeing, I think we're going to see eventually Gotham just descend into total chaos, a few seasons down the line. And I really like the interaction between Jim Gordon and Carmine Falcone. It was interesting seeing from the conversation we had at the very beginning of the season to the conversation that we have at the end of the show. And basically it's Falcone giving the reins to Jim Gordon, and Jim Gordon basically being the person who will basically lead Gotham City. And it's really nice to sort of see those parallels between Gotham having been mainly criminal based to now being one composed of the law. I found that really, really fascinating. I really like the interaction with Fish and Penguin. Penguin was perhaps the most interesting because I had already read that Fish was going to die in this season, and I kind of will admit I'm kind of disappointed that she did die this early on, because Fish was a very compelling character. But seeing the Penguin take the role of the King of Gotham was really, really interesting. And it basically turns that character into a villain. The only thing that I found strange was with Catwoman, with Selina Kyle. Selina Kyle basically turns into a bit of a villain-esque type version of Fish. And basically, Selina randomly turns into a Fish lookalike. I know this is clearly inspired from Batman Eternal, because Catwoman does turn into a villain in that comic book storyline. But I think it was a bit out of place in this story to have Selina turn into that sort of villain. Because that's not what Selina was portrayed. Selina has been portrayed definitely in that grey area. And I think the show to suddenly throw her into a villain-esque role and sort of imply that she might have a like to Fish, like have those lesbian tendencies that was recently written into her character. But I felt that was a bit too much for that character. For a start, I think we needed the build-up properly, and secondly, I just think it seemed out of place for her character. Now I'm going to briefly talk about Bruce Wayne. Basically, Bruce Wayne, spoiler alert, I'll give you again 5 seconds to get out now, because this is a major spoiler. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Bruce Wayne basically discovers the Batcave. That was how this episode ended. He basically discovered the Batcave, and I was really happy about that. I do think they did it a bit too fast, but I'm really happy that Bruce Wayne found the Batcave, because the Batcave is so part of that character, and so part of how that character functions. Yeah, so I'm gonna basically leave it off there. All in all, guys, this was an absolutely fantastic episode. I really enjoyed everything that I watched in this episode, and I'm very much looking forward to season 2. I want more. That's all I can say. I want more. So I'm gonna leave off here, and stay tuned for my Game of Thrones reviews. Bye.